Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton. I am the president and CEO of Archimedes Offspring. And I am in the lovely location of Rapid City, South Dakota today, and will be for this week. So you see a little bit different background than you normally see, but we are still gearing up and heading strong into the vetting process of getting those inventors, those first projects that we will be putting into that first raise. So the topic for today is, what can you learn from a bunch of balloons? So unless you've got children and grandchildren, let me fill you in. You learn how to have a ton of fun real fast, especially if you are using a bunch of balloons, which is the product that was invented by Josh Malone. Now, on the inventor side of that, it's certainly a lot more serious. What we learned from Josh is, at this point in the USPTO and inventing arena, you have got to assume that if you are successful, and that is where you all want to be, if this is, if you're going out this door, you certainly aren't doing it just because you want to waste a ton of money. You want to be successful. So you've got to go out the door these days with the idea that once you are successful, someone is going to try to rip you off and steal your product. They're not stealing your idea, they're stealing your market share. And so when we've always told inventors, it's like, ideas are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. Nobody wants to steal yours until you start making money. And then they want to steal your market share. So if you start out with the idea that you'll be challenged on that side of it, then you'll take better steps. And I have been telling inventors this for years, right? Do the steps the right way. Don't take shortcuts on the most important parts. So got some big things to pay attention to. One is, get the independent search done. This is what the examiner is looking at. This is what they try to turn over if you end up in the Patent Trials and Appeals Board committee. You want to know what else is out there. That independent search is critical to this. Inventors, when you go out and you do your own searching, honestly, did you want to find it? An independent search, that's their job. That's what they go looking for, to see what the examiner is going to find. You want the examiner to find it. You want to be able to file a good patent on the differences or the improvements. You want to know that you're doing it right before you've spent all that time and money. All right, next step, use a registered patent attorney. I know that, when we had that first hour at the USPTO, their big thing was how to do, what's pro bono. That is not necessarily a bad option if you meet the criteria. But one of the other big topics was filing pro se. No, and big time no. Legally, yes, you can certainly do it. Should you do it? Oh, goodness sakes, of course not. All right. It's like doing your own brain surgery. By the time you realize you've made a mistake, it's too late to fix the darn thing. And when you're learning from a bunch of balloons, you want to understand how important it is that you had a registered patent attorney who knows the rules of the game, all right, doing it correctly for you. Okay, the next thing Josh would tell you is, he licensed his intellectual property to a toy company. He went out there, did a great Kickstarter campaign, had a lot of support and a lot of interest in the product, but he didn't have the ability to manufacture 100,000 of these things. So he licensed it. And it was because he licensed it, okay, the steps in Archimedes Offspring. Keep that in mind. I've got a reason the way I'm getting the path I'm on, is because it was the licensee that was able to help him legally fight that battle when it got teed up and somebody wanted to take his market share. So when we're talking about, doing the right steps, those are the biggies. Without using a registered patent attorney, he wouldn't have had all the pieces in place for the patents. And Josh filed multiple patents. He did it right. He had different patents for different parts of the invention. And when one got invalidated, he was able to tee that up and go after another. He was able to fight it. And it was because he had really good patents that he was able to win. He had done his homework. He had other service providers helping him in the early stages of this. And it's really important that you pay attention in the early steps. Shortcuts that you shouldn't take, doing your own search. By all means, start out, look around, see what you can find. But eventually you need to have that independent search done. By all means, use a registered patent attorney. You know, your brother-in-law's son who's in law school doesn't count. You know, your neighbor who, you know, and sometimes, you know, you'll ask an attorney, can they help with a patent? If they're smart, they'll tell you no. If they're not registered, they know that that's just not the path that they should be on. You know, that's something that we've learned with the USPTO is that, you know, they're going to, when the examiner legitimately tells you no, it's because they're doing what they're told to do. And it's the registered patent attorney who knows the dance. They know the pushback. A good patent is like a work of art. It's layers of, you know, it's like layers of paint that get put in there that protects you. And, you know, yeah, a lot of times they'll start with a template. They don't want to forget anything either. So they'll go back through and look to make sure that all the parts are there. But, you know, there's a reason these guys go to school, and ladies go to school for a long time to learn how to do this. And you're not going to be able to learn it in a few Saturday morning classes. You're risking everything by taking those shortcuts. All right. The next phase, and you know, when you go out the door to raise money, all right, and you're looking at money, you know, one of the things that we learned is that you can spend a lot of time chasing money. Josh, fortunately, he had the ability to pay for some of these things up front. And like I said, you know, he did the Kickstarter campaign. It was very successful. You know, he got star cast there with 8 children. So, you know, he had a lot of ability behind him to get this done. If you don't have that, you know, everybody's got an area of expertise. So take a look at what is your expertise, and then be able to play on that and get the people in to help you who have the expertise that you need to add to your team. You know, getting a good invention to market, it's not something you can do by yourself. And when I catch inventors saying, oh, I can do it all, and I can do these pieces, and I'll just take the time to learn, you know, check my videos from last week about time is not your friend when it comes to inventing. It is a race. And when you take too long, somebody else will beat you to the punch. So pay attention to the time, pay attention to the service providers, get the people in to help you when you need that help. And, you know, when you ask yourself, what can you learn from a bunch of balloons? You can learn the right steps on how to get your product out there successfully and prepare yourself for the battle, whether it's a balloon fight in the backyard or fighting a PTAB court case. You can learn a lot from a bunch of balloons. Have a great day. If you have any questions at all, send me an email, Rita@Archimedes Offspring, and I am happy to answer your questions and happy to tell you the rules for a bunch of balloons.